Keeper of the Lost Cities, Everblaze, Chapter 50. They're not here, Sophie said, rolling the words around on her tongue like that would somehow change their meaning. Why aren't they here? The quintessence had carried them to an island, a tiny spit of land and palms, where Sophie would have expected to find a marooned pirate searching for the X that marked the spot. But there was no treasure, just beach and trees and empty ocean, looking extra eerie in the dim moonlight. Maybe we're early, Keith said, plopping down in the soft sand as Sandor went to patrol the trees. I bet they'll be here any minute. He motioned for Sophie to join him, but she was too tense to sit. She made her way to the shore, grabbing one of the smooth stones from the beach and hurling it into the water as hard as she could, followed by another and another. Each stone flew just a little shorter than the last. You should be skipping them, Keith told her as he came up behind her. He placed a wide, flat rock in her palm and showed her how to flick her wrist. They practiced the motion 1, 2, 3 times. On the 4th, they let it fly, and the rock skipped and skipped and skipped some more before they lost sight of it in the dark waves. See how much more fun it is when you relax? Keith asked her. How am I supposed to relax, Keith? Look at this place. It's a deserted island. An extra creepy one. She couldn't put her finger on what it was, but there was something off about it. Like all the color had been bleached out. Even the moonlight was a faded gray. Sophie turned to pace, dredging a rut in the sand. Something's wrong. I don't think they're coming. But why would they go to all the trouble giving us these? Keith asked, pointing to the 5 glowing bottles dangling from her neck. Who knows? Maybe they needed to get rid of them because they're illegal and they knew I would get in less trouble. They could just open the bottles and release the light back into the sky. Plus, after the whole Ogre King thing, you're on pretty thin ice, you know? I bet if you sneeze too loud, Bronte will call a tribunal. Sophie straightened. Maybe that's their plan. Oh, what is? Having me get caught with these, so I'll be exiled. They want me to heal Prentice, right? And they know there's no way the council is going to approve that now. So if they can't bring him to me, they'll force me to go to him. Keith stared at the glowing bottles like he was seeing them in a whole new light. But then he shook his head. I still don't buy it. There are easier ways to get you exiled. Plus, why would they invite me? Remember, I didn't just tag along this time. He was right. Inviting him didn't make sense. Unless... What if this whole thing was a distraction, she asked. A trick to get you, me, and Sandor away from something. She grabbed Keith's arm. What if they're trying to get Sylvanie? But Sylvanie's not with us anymore. She's at the sanctuary. Still, we should get back. There's no reason to stay here. She pulled out her home crystal, holding it up to the pale moonlight, but it wouldn't cast a beam. She tried several times, and nothing changed. Okay, that's not cool, Keith mumbled, as his home crystal did the same. It's like the light's too weak somehow, or something was filtering it. If the Black Swan could create a pocket of air under the ocean, surely they could put some sort of shield around the island. And the palm trees didn't look tall enough for her to teleport from. This is a trap, Sophie whispered, squinting through the darkness, trying to see what hid in the shadows. They must have picked this place because they know we can't leave. We can try those, Keith said, pointing to the glowing, dangling bottles around her neck. Won't they just take us back to the places we've already been? Sophie asked. Those were all pretty cramped places. I'd rather be out here. I guess. Maybe it was the weird moonlight, but Keith looked genuinely afraid. Sandor! Sophie shouted, wanting some extra muscle and weapon close by. Sandor must have been listening to their conversation because he was already on his way, sword raised. I detect no trace of life, he told them, sniffing the air once more. But we must find a way out of here. What if we, combine the different lights or something? Keith suggested. That might take us somewhere different, right? Would that work? Sandor asked. I don't know, Sophie admitted. But if we did, where would it even take us? Keith shrugged. It's gotta be safer than waiting around here. No one could argue with that. So Sophie untied all the bottles and placed them in a small circle in the sand, their colorful glows turning white when they converged, and Keith nodded. She carefully placed the Maxidian charm on the brightest spot in the center. A blinding flash shot out of the swan's beak, turning everything into a blur. Sophie rubbed her eyes, trying to focus through the glare, but Keith must have recovered first, because he grabbed her arm and whispered, I think I see something. Where? Sandor asked, and Keith pointed towards the ocean. The light had faded, leaving nothing but shadows and more shadows. But when Keith took the charm from Sophie and created another gleaming flash, she spotted, with his sharp eyes, had caught the first time. 3 figures in dark hooded cloaks coming towards them across the waves.